10 years ago, I was only 13 years old.
My family was forcefully evicted from Bhutan.
10 years ago, I was in corporate America.
10 years ago, we had the war in Iraq.
More hair and less gray hair and less wrinkles.
10 years ago, I honestly was not really aware with what was going on.
I remember I participated in one of the elections. That was 10 years ago. I didn't really know anything more about how life could be like outside the refugee camp because that was my entire world.
I was passionate about things, but I didn't really know or really understand the system. It wasn't accessible to me. My parents are both from Mexico, and they really didn't understand the system either. So
I didn't speak no English. I didn't know how to drive. I didn't have any job, totally like in zeros. I didn't know how the system worked.
We were the only Latino family on my block.
My social justice world was non-existent, but there were pieces and kernels of my everyday work life that did not feel right.
I wanted to participate in public life, so I started writing articles, organizing, community organizing at several levels. I ended up on an assassination list, and I had to leave the country with my family.
In our initial conversation when CIO started because of 9/11, and then later on we realized that we are actually dealing with issues much deeper.
things that I just thought were the way they were because that's just the way things were.
But I felt like I always had to try harder. That my skill set had to be 10 times more than the average person that was working there.
So yeah, I did have a lot of thoughts about how people need to be more engaged and how we need a more inclusive society for everyone.
There is a case to be made that we need to have a space where immigrant and refugee community members, regardless of our country of origin, that we have to come together collectively and strategize around our issues.
I really started to understand that this was not an individual issue and that it was a system issue, and that the things around you perpetuated the discrimination, the racism, you name it.
Immigrants from all over the place that come to the United States and feel isolation and feel like they don't understand other groups of immigrants.
What really is uniting us is our common experience as an immigrant refugee community, because the reality is that we know this country, immigrant refugees have been criminalized. We know that this country, if you are an immigrant and you have an accent, most likely you may be treated differently, and if you are applying a job, you might not be able to be given the opportunity. You might know that our local government might not think about how to include you, to be bringing you at the table. So there's a lot of issues around that we have a common experience.
CIO creates that bridge for immigrants to really come together, immigrants and refugees to come together, and not only come together, but elevate each other and work off of each other's strengths and learn from each other's histories of oppression in this state and in this country.
When we're building a movement and when we're envisioning a society that's equitable, that's collective, that's take care of itself, the reality is that you have to really practice that vision, that what you're trying to impart, what you're trying to tell people. And the reality is that what we're trying to do in a small scale at CIO is that we want to practice what we are preaching to the community.
Every day when members are voicing their opinions or their voices are being heard and when they're testifying, that's when the real changes start to happen.
Since we were given this kind of instant bridge or instant stage to for the newly arriving people to start looking into public life and engaging public life.
There's so much potential. The country definitely needs an organization like CIO, and I see us going national in 10 years.
We want to have those really concrete issues and equity and accountability to be succeeded and to be accomplished.
CIO is a place where there is a holistic approach, so it's from organizing to advocacy to serving people to sponsoring or cultivating think tanks for this multicultural environment.
I see CIO to be a place that has its own actually built house, built building where many ethnic organizations have their own offices. So we do take care of our community, but there is also a space to do collective organizing and collective collaboration.
CIO is going to be the organization for that, and it's going to be a model for the rest of the country to be able to do this kind of work.
It's a good model. I mean, a lot of people can replicate from it, and I see CIO being everywhere else in the US and probably out of country, probably in Malaysia through me.
When I came here, there was just all of a sudden a different sense of what this place was.
CIO is a home, yeah, to many people around.